Hey, John O'Brien, and this is Money and Wealth. We have a fan question from Make Mogul Moves, two S's, from Instagram. Again, Make Mogul Moves from Instagram. And he asks, are you familiar with discharging debt, John? And do you use this avenue or approach? I am familiar with discharging debt. It's called bankruptcy. The most common form of discharging a debt is a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. One is a reorganization. Well, one is a liquidation, one is a reorganization. In both situations, if you have the courts think that you have an overwhelming obligation, they will allow you to discharge your debts, release them. The hit will be on your credit report, your credit score, your credit rating, your ability to go and get financing again from a reputable lender. The word credit comes from the Latin root word credito, which means credibility. So your credibility to get credit would be significantly diminished if you file for bankruptcy. I have had situations, many, over the course of my years as an entrepreneur where bankruptcy unfortunately was an option. When I was homeless, when I was 18 years of age for 6 months of my life and lived in my Montero Jeep that was being hunted down by the leasing company I wasn't paying in Costa Mesa. And I'm sure that my credit was toe up from the flow up. And I had little option, but I would communicate with the creditor and tell them I'd pay them eventually. They were still looking for the Jeep, and I was still trying to avoid them. And then when I could pay them, I did pay them. I could have filed bankruptcy. I was clearly upside down financially, but I knew it would haunt me forever. And also, these folks lent me money. I asked them to lend me the money. They didn't force it on me. It was not a bad situation. It was actually a pretty good situation. I just ran out of money, ran out of running room, ran out of cash, ran out of cheese, right? And I made a bet and it didn't work out. And that was not the lender's fault. That was my fault. And the monthly payments were due, and I couldn't make it. And there were other monthly payments that were due, and I couldn't make it. And my credit score at that time had to be 300 or 400. It's 800 now. So no, I just fought through it. And it was toe up for a time, and I worked my way back, and I cut deals with each of my creditors. And over time, I paid them back. So I did not discharge the debts. I ultimately settled them, sometimes for a fraction of what the face balance was, but that was an agreement between me and the lender that we both said yes to. So you can discharge debt, and if you do decide to discharge a debt through bankruptcy, know that some debts don't discharge. So you need to make sure you talk to a legal representative, talk to an accountant to see the tax ramifications, but you definitely want to talk to a bankruptcy attorney. I'm not encouraging to file bankruptcy, by the way, but if you're going to do it, talk to a bankruptcy attorney, because I hate you to go through all this stuff to try to get out of a debt only to find out that it is not dischargeable. All right, this is John O'Brien, and this is Money and Wealth on the Black Effect Podcast Network.